Okay, alright guys, welcome back to another awesome tutorial on a PHP programming language. So what I'm going to teach you guys for this tutorial, like most of the time when I were doing a project, I used to make a password or logging system, okay? So most of the time I was wondering that I was using the right type of hashing for my password. So most of the time I use an encryption called MD5. So I thought this thing was secured. So finally I figured out that this thing was not secured, and this thing was so much vulnerable for brute force attack. So like if somebody got your database, your password will be easily crackable using this encryption. So it's not a nice practice to use MD5 hashing whenever you are developing a project. Okay. So with that being said, there is a site called CrackStation. I'm not having an internet right now, but for of you guys who are wondering that how this MD5 brute force attack works, go to that site and try to play with it, so that you'll find out that MD5 encryption is not a good encryption algorithm. Okay. So with that being said, starting from PHP version 5, there is something called password hashing. This is a function that will help you to secure your password. So this is what we are going to see for this tutorial. So with that being said, let's directly jump and see how to use password hash to encrypt your password. Okay, so everything is starts from scratch here. So let's save this file in my htdocs file, and let me create a project called Amayene. So there is also a folder called Amayene here. Yeah. So let me delete all these things and try to save, or let's try to create another project here, or let's call this thing Amayene Hewitt. So let's come here and try to save this thing as index.php. So with that being said, let's see the old stone age of encrypting a password, which was MD5. And let me try to have a password called Amayene, for instance. And let's try to see how this thing is encrypted. So if I hover over to my project here, it's going to be Amayene Hewitt, so that it will display me this encrypted password here. So whenever I reload this thing, it will give me just the same hash every time, which is not a good practice. So what does this password hash will do? It will give you, the function name is password hash, and the argument that you pass are the first thing, which is going to be your password, in which I choose Amayene, and the next argument is going to be what type of algorithm that you want to encrypt your password. So most of the time the default will be used. So if I use the password default, so that this thing will give me the encrypted portion of this Amayene. So let's see what this thing returns. So this thing returns this thing. So if you look this thing carefully, there are something that talks about the algorithm. The first, this thing is the type of algorithm this thing is using. The next one is going to be the cost. The cost means if you have a better hardware that can generate passwords fastly, you can have a bigger number, but the default it will be 10 here. And the next part is something which is called salt. Salt is something that is added to your hash to make your encryption hard. Okay, it will not be easily be crackable. So maybe on the next tutorial I will show you how to change this default into some of your own. And the next part, this thing is the hashed password, the password that is already password. For instance, like here I'm have like a Amayene here, so this will be the hashed equivalent of this thing. So the other thing, the other algorithm that you can try is something which is called bcrypt. Okay, which will probably do the same thing, but it is a different algorithm here. So it's returning a different thing. So whenever I refresh this thing, it will give me a different hash. It will not be fixed as MD5 will do. So this is what I have to tell you for this tutorial. So on the next tutorial, I'll teach you guys how to change your hashes or how to encrypt already encrypted algorithm like MD5. So till we meet on the next tutorial, keep on liking, keep on subscribing, keep on sharing my videos with your friend. Peace and love. Ciao.